Oh boy, that must have been hard for Peter. Hardly has he been told he was the rock on which the church will be built, when in the next breath he's being told he was the stumbling block to that. If you remember last week, Peter couldn't get enough of Jesus being Messiah. He had insight he'd never had before. That was last week's story. But actually, it was only a few minutes before we read this part of the story, where Peter says, "God forbid you'll suffer." And Jesus, disappointed, replies, "Get behind me, Satan. Your rockness has become the boulder you'll stumble over." And that must hurt. Can you imagine Peter crushed, confused, frightened even? Let's take a moment's pause there and throw you a left field image here. We've been hearing a lot about vaccines and how countries are buying up stocks that haven't yet been produced for their own citizens. Instead of a space race, there is a vaccine race where some perverse form of nationalism, well, maybe all nationalism is perverse, takes glory in being the first to a vaccine, be it Sputnik 5 or buying up the entire global stock of remdesivir. Now hold that while we get back to the story. Peter thought he was on to something. He got the crucial question correct last week, but confusingly got the follow-up wrong this week. Bit of background. They're living in an occupied country. Romans weren't friends. The country was oppressed and people were looking for someone to bid for freedom on their behalf. The common assumption was the Messiah was the one who was going to do that. The problem, as Jesus saw it, however, if you are in occupied times and you have a freedom fighter on your side and you respond with force to force, it doesn't change anything. You get rid of Romans, but someone will eventually get rid of you. Violence keeps revolving. But Peter can't imagine anything different. Thus it has always been, and my friends, it still is, as we know. I was talking to my daughter this week about conflict, and she was saying we can't think of conflict as we used to in the past. War has shifted. It's not about bullets and explosives, but now fought with data and information. It's the same cycle, just different weapons. And Jesus knows this and introduces a different logic that runs by forgiveness and mercy and love, not retribution, violence and hate. He's challenging the powers that be. He knows he's not going to win with ever more violence. But Peter can't imagine that. He imagines the wrong Messiah. Jesus' ambition is hard to imagine in light of how prevalent might and violence are in the world. We have leaders walking to church surrounded by armed guards, having cleared away Black Lives Matter protesters in order to hold up a Bible. It's all so very hard to imagine Jesus' ethic. And we end up like Peter, wanting a little more of what the world already offers, be it force or security or wealth or status or popularity or whatever. But Jesus didn't come to comfort us with a little more of what the world already gives, but frees us from that. And there is the whole symbolism of the cross. Look what ever more violence does. You end up with a peacemaker on a cross. But too many forget part 2, which is resurrection. The whole image of that is violence doesn't win. Vaccine races have no winners. And the more we continue to run things on that ethic, the more we lose each other. It's an act of imagination, Jesus' ethic, which Peter didn't quite get then, and too many don't get now. Well, some say imagination, Others call it faith. Let us pray. Loving God, cross-carrying God, may we imagine you carrying that cross, that way of living, that challenge to the world, into the world. And imagine ourselves following you into this world where nationalism grows and moves against the greater vision of humanity, where populism spreads and spreads fear that turns neighbours into enemies. Can we imagine you, O cross carrier, turning the world with forgiveness, mercy and love? This world, where the refugee is still homeless, the hungry still unfed, the poor last to be cared for, and the rich lauding the power over themselves. Can we imagine you, O cross carrier, turning the world with peace, generosity and love? This world, where futures feel unknown and church uncertain, and education a political game, and unemployment real, and health vulnerable, and communities becoming invisible. Can we imagine you, O cross carrier, turning the world with vision, grace and love? This world, and the people we love and care for, the ill and the anxious, the grieving and the broken, the worried and the least. Can we imagine you, O cross carrier, turning the world with love, love, love? So be it. Amen.